So earlier in the year, I dropped a video talking about how I feel about every NFL quarterback entering 2025. And now that we're halfway through the season, my friend Wheels thought it'd be a good idea to revisit our tier lists and reorder them based on not only, of course, what we know about that player as a whole, but the 2025 season. He's doing a video on his as well, so if you want a different opinion, I'll link that down below. However, let's get into my list, ranking every quarterback here midway through the season with a little bit more information. Of course, it's not only based on 2025. And if you're just going to tell me stats, I don't care. This is about watching these guys play and seeing how they elevate a team. Not all of these scenarios are identical, so you're getting varying performances from these players. That doesn't mean I think a player's really, really amazing now in the elite tier because he's playing well with a great situation, and it doesn't mean I think a guy who's not playing so great in an awful situation deserves to be below that. I'm taking account each situation. I do think Josh Allen is elite. I don't think we have to talk about some of the top players for too long. Josh Allen is still an incredible player. The Bills, maybe aren't as good as they have been, but I don't really think that's on Josh Allen. I think the defense is pretty poor. He's been still very, very good. Jake Browning is a backup. I think he's an okay backup as far as backups go, but you don't really want backups on the field. He's getting outplayed, of course, by Joe Flacco. Still going to put Joe Burrow in elite. I think he's an elite quarterback. I think you do get a little bit upset about how often he's on the field. Injuries are a fairly frequent thing for him, but also you're not really protecting him as well as you should be. That's not to say that none of these sacks he's taking are his fault, but I think the Bengals could have done a better job protecting him. But the injury stuff is rough, but he's still a very, very good player. Kirk Cousins. Are you ready to level up your collection or get started trading cards? Well, Arena Club's original slab packs bring the thrill of ripping packs combined with the power to buy, sell, and trade all in one place. Arena Club makes it easy to chase grails, flip slabs, and keep your collection growing with the cards you love. Everything is completely transparent. They have a checklist that you can check out and a multitude of different slab packs you can try, including the new Boom slab pack. You can try to pull some Kaboom cards. Every hit rate is listed. There is no guessing with Arena Club. I like ripping the Ruby, and of course on this channel, it's a football channel. We're ripping Arena Club Ruby football. Once you open your pack, you get the excitement of seeing what you pull instantly. The card gets added to your showroom. It's immediately available for listing in an auction, trading, or just showcasing if that's what you're into. Arena Club will also give you an instant offer for your card, or you can get it shipped directly to you. But here we go, Arena Club Ruby football. Give me something good here. Okay, that is really good. And I think also a card I have in real life, although not graded. This is a PSA 10 stained glass insert of Patrick Mahomes. This is electric. And the instant offer is $922. I didn't even realize it's going for that much nowadays. I don't think mine is PSA 10, but I definitely have this card. And now I can get another shipped right to me, but this one is PSA 10 already graded. I'm going to hold on to it. Okay, that is absolutely insane. If you've been watching my channel, you've seen these Arena Club reads before. My luck is not always quite this good, but sometimes it is, and that was my best pull. If you want to give Arena Club a shot, click the link down in the description. Go to arenaclub.com/Bengal. Use code Bengal. You'll get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase. Again, that's arenaclub.com/Bengal. Remember to use code Bengal, and hopefully your luck is as good as mine was today, because this was incredible. Kirk Cousins I struggle with because I don't think he's a backup. But I don't really think he's anywhere but either bridge quarterback or low expectations, but you never know, I guess. I think he could have been in bridge quarterback, but he's just not the same player post-injury. I'm going to go low expectations, but you never know. Maybe there could be a renaissance here where he's fringe starter level like a Joe Flacco, the way he's playing in 2025, which is at a great level for what you can expect from Joe Flacco. He's been fantastic. He's not an elite quarterback, but he's been real solid. And I think Kirk Cousins could potentially be a bridge quarterback, or maybe even good enough to start but upgradable. But based on what we've seen, extremely low sample size, obviously, over the past couple seasons, but I think low expectations is the most fair. Jaden Daniels. I had in tier 2 last time, right? team elevators regardless of situation. I still think I'm going to err to that. I think he's, more dynamic than just a guy you can win with. That's not to say that, he's played better than some of the players I probably end up ranking below him. Obviously has missed a small amount of time due to some injury stuff, but without Terry McLaurin, I know it hasn't been quite to the same level, but we saw him last year. He was exceptional. I'm gonna lean towards tier 2 right now, as Sam Darnold goes into, I think, can win with. He's been great this year. I think he's probably played at a higher level than Jaden Daniels, but based off of what we know about Sam Darnold and based on his current situation, I don't know that I'm willing to bump him up to maybe at the back end of tier 2. I don't know that you can get much more out of Sam Darnold. He's played great this year, though, so maybe I will throw him in tier 2 because he has been fantastic. Maybe this is going to be a really nice, friendly video where everyone gets love. Give me Jackson Dart in young but promising. He's been very, very good this year in the small sample size. I think he's definitely in the conversation of even better than this, but it's such a small sample. We're going to say young but promising. I wouldn't say good enough to start but upgradable. It's just such a small sample. He's been electric so far, but right now young and promising is where I want to put him. The cat, adding her 2 cents, thinks that he should be an elite, and honestly, it's fair. Justin Fields is a bridge quarterback. What is a bridge quarterback? A QB that gets you to the next quarterback. That's what Justin Fields is only ever going to be, it would appear. He was not good in Chicago, Pittsburgh, or the Jets. I'm sure the next spot will be better, right? It's hard to say that. I just don't think he's ever going to speed up to where he needs to be. He's a very good athlete. I think he can make plays as a result, but the processing on the field is just way too slow. It's just the game's moving too quick for him. The ball is never out when it needs to be. He's just, I don't think, ever going to be somebody that, you feel that confident in at QB. He's still young. I think there's still a chance, that he could figure it out, but it just doesn't seem that likely. Joe Flacco is also a bridge quarterback. He's 40 years old. He's not your franchise guy. He's playing great for what the expectations are in, Cincinnati. With Joe Flacco, you don't think you're going to get a whole lot. He's been really, really solid, right? He's not young but promising. You could make the argument that, hey, good enough to start but upgradable. That's kind of like the exact definition of Joe Flacco right now. I guess these two categories are pretty similar. Maybe we'd be nice to Joe Flacco and say he's good enough to start, but obviously is upgradable. He's just not your guy. He's way too old. Dylan Gabriel. To me, he's certainly young, but he's not promising. I think Dylan Gabriel is a backup quarterback. I don't think he's got starter potential. Maybe you could say low expectations, but you never know, I guess. I just don't think he's ever going to be that great. I think maybe, given the right scenario, he can be productive enough to trick people into thinking he could be good, but this is a backup quarterback, in my opinion. Jared Goff, we're finally giving some respect to. I wasn't fully sure what to do with him going into the season because I'm like, okay, the situation, still have the talent there, but you lose Ben Johnson. What does that mean for the offense? Still a pretty similar system, so he's still been quite good in it. And I think Jared Goff on an individual level is just good now. I think Jared Goff is someone that you have a quarterback and you're happy about it. There's a lot worse in the NFL than Jared Goff. He is quite a solid starter, and I think can win with is perfectly fine. I don't know that he would be, throw him to the Jets and suddenly the Jets are really good, but I think currently with this Lions team, you're good at quarterback. You don't have to worry about upgrading Jared Goff. Justin Herbert, still in my tier 2. I think Herbert has shown flashes of really, really elevating, but then you look again, like you're missing Rashawn Slater. This guy can't keep getting hurt at this level. It's a big-time tackle. It keeps becoming a need for the Chargers because he's not on the field. I know Joe Alt missed a little bit of time as well. The interior of the offensive line is not very good. The weapons are still not really that good. And I think Justin Herbert has still been very, very good. I know he's got more haters than any other quarterback in the league. The guy is still one of the best in my opinion. Still super young, super talented. I think sky is still the limit for him as we get to Will Howard. Will Howard, I think, has potential above Dylan Gabriel. I'll throw him in low expectations, but you never know. I don't really think he's going to end up being an NFL starter at any point. We haven't seen anything from him this year, so just going to go low expectations. As we deal with Jalen Hurts, probably the toughest player for me to rank on this video. There are going to be some that want him in elite, some that think he's good enough to start, but upgradable, if you can believe it. I think Jalen Hurts is a guy you can win with. His numbers are great this year. You can say I'm a hating Giants fan, whatever you want. I see Jalen Hurts hold the ball for 30 minutes in the pocket, afraid to almost make a play sometimes. He's got a very good deep ball, but it's everything else as a passer that could certainly use some work. He's still a guy you can absolutely win with. This is a great team. Their offensive line still can pass block. Their run blocking has not been so great this year, but I just don't know that Hurts is elite. But I also kind of think he's like, even though Sam Darnold has played great, putting Sam Darnold that's here above Jalen Hurts feels like kind of crazy. Like, even though Darnold, I think, individually has been a better passer this year, I don't throw the numbers at me. I don't care. Hurts is absolutely somebody you're happy with at quarterback, and you know what he does for the locker room. Maybe I'm just going to be really nice today, and everyone's tier 2. Everybody gets a high ranking. Lamar is absolutely elite. This team's garbage without him. I don't even want to spend too much time on this. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Probably should have been the MVP last year. They gave it to Josh Allen, who was also like close to deserving it, I would say. This team without Lamar is disgraceful. Daniel Jones is back. You can win with Daniel Jones. Man, Anthony Richardson is horrendous. The offensive line in Indianapolis is great. And because the offensive line in Indianapolis is so good, and the receiving threats are quite good, and the play calling is quite good, and Daniel Jones really just has to hand it off a lot of the time, and there's a wide open hole for Jonathan Taylor to be your offense. This team has been incredible. But individually, Daniel Jones has been way better than I think almost anybody could have predicted. Suddenly, he's able to throw a deep ball. Where did this come from? Suddenly, he doesn't look completely afraid to play quarterback in the pocket. His mental clock was a huge issue with the Giants, but if you can just protect for him, it's not really so much of a problem. I think Daniel Jones is back up to can win with. He's played about as well as any quarterback this year. So we get to McCorkle. Mac Jones. Mac Jones is he's a bridge quarterback. Like, he's a backup, but he's like a good backup. And I think part of that is he's with Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. I don't know that the difference between Mac Jones and Brock Purdy is extreme. So, maybe this seems a bit high or low for Mac Jones, depending on how you feel about his play this year and the 49ers as a whole. But you know what? I think he can do worse than Mac Jones, depending on the scheme. And he's been, fine. Bridge quarterback, you don't want this guy as your franchise guy, but he's fine in a spot start. Trevor Lawrence. Wow, what do you do with him? Huge contract, still not playing especially well. I think, they're definitely winning with him, but he's not really elevating the team at all. I almost think he's good enough to start, but upgradable. He's been not exceptional almost his whole career at this point. You're still waiting to see him take that step. He shows you flashes of brilliance on occasion, and then it's like, how did he miss the shallow cross right in front of his face? Tough. But I don't really know what to do with Trevor Lawrence. Putting Daniel Jones ahead of him feels crazy, but have you watched this season? It's been pretty clear. Will Levis is low expectations, but you never know. I think given the right system and chance to develop, Will Levis is athletic enough and talented enough that he can be, good enough to start but upgradable at the best, maybe. But right now, I don't think the expectations are particularly high for him. He's going to have to go there. Jordan Love. Jordan Love's a tier 2 quarterback. I felt that way at the start of the year. I feel it now. He is really, really good. Green Bay's offense hasn't been as good as you'd want it to be this year, but I don't really think Jordan Love can take a ton of fault for that. I think individually he has been very, very good, as has this guy, Patrick Mahomes. He's elite, back in the conversation for best quarterback in the league. Seemed like, maybe he was at the back end of the big four, maybe behind Allen and Lamar, but after this season, he's right back to this guy's number one probably, and if you disagree, I wouldn't hate it because of how good Allen and Lamar are, but Mahomes is back to, number one pretty much and argue with a wall for me. As Drake May. Drake May we had in young but promising, and he's going up to tier 2 for me. It's, being aggressive with his ranking, but this is legit in my opinion. The situation is not even that good, and Drake May is just elevating everybody. He is a stud. I had him as my number one player in the draft for a reason. I got so much shit for it. You're just trying to be different. You're an idiot. This is going to age so badly. You think Drake May's QB1? Are you a fucking moron? Maybe so, but it's aging pretty well right now. Drake May is running toward an MVP season right now. Tier 2, I think, is absolutely fair. And I'll throw Baker Mayfield in tier 2 as well. He's been an MVP type candidate this year as well. He's elevating everybody around him. You dealt with some injuries on the O-line, of course, and at wide receiver. It's next man up. Baker is, for the most part, playing great with those guys. I mean, Tez Johnson looks like a star. He's throwing touchdowns to guys I've never even heard of. I can't even remember the guy's name right now. He had one catch last year, and his second catch was a touchdown in 2025. I don't know. Baker Mayfield is just that guy. He's a dog. J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, the difference between a J.J. McCarthy and a Jackson Dart based on 2025 is fairly extreme, but we really haven't seen very much from J.J. I think there's still potential there, but the gap between him and Dart is fairly significant, I would say, within this tier, but we still really have not seen J.J. McCarthy. I think he's still got some promise. He's still very, very young. We'll see what happens. Jalen Milroe, probably low expectations, but you never know. He's a really good athlete. He's a backup right now. What can we even say about him? Kyler Murray is good enough to start, but upgradable. He's not played very well this year. The Cardinals as a whole are kind of a mess. Their O-line's not very good. I still don't think the receiving core is very good. They've got no running game without James Conner, without Trey Benson. They're down to Michael Carter, Bam Knight, Amari DiMercado. It's not great, but Kyler individually, I think we're getting to the point where it's like, all right, what do we actually have here? And it doesn't really appear to be a franchise quarterback. Bo Nix, I'm going to throw in young but promising. I feel like the gap between him and, Drake May is pretty extreme. He's still young. I don't know what we're going to get out of Bo Nix. He really hasn't played that great this year. I don't really know what to say about him. I think people might disagree with me a lot on Bo Nix here, but I still think, like, young but promising, I might prefer Bo Nix over some of the guys in this tier, but I also don't think I want to elevate him up to can win with. So I'm just, he's young, he's promising, he hasn't been that great this year, but the Broncos are, in my opinion, a pretty good team. So we'll see on that. People are going to hate that. It is what it is. Michael Penix hasn't been that great this year. I'm going to throw in young but promising still. For the guys with really small sample sizes, this is kind of where they go. And to me, a season and a half is still a pretty small sample size. So that's where we're going to be. Kenny Pickett. is a backup. It's where I am on Kenny Pickett. Dak Prescott is a tier 2 quarterback. He's been, near an MVP level this year. I don't like the Cowboys, obviously, but the Dak disrespect has kind of been completely out of hand. This is a really, really good QB. When he's healthy, he's very, very good. It is way harder to upgrade Dak Prescott than a lot of people seem to think. He is a very, very good player. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, to me, small sample this year, didn't really play that well when he was healthy. I still don't really think all that much of him as a player. I think he's good enough to start, but he's upgradable. That's in my opinion. I also think, man, Spencer Rattler's a tough one because he's actually been okay this year, and then he's benched now. I know the Saints are losing so many games, but I don't really know that it's like Spencer Rattler's fault so much. He really has not been that bad, but he just got benched on the Saints. So, to me, I'm going to throw Rattler in young but promising because, yeah, he doesn't have the draft prestige. He wasn't really a high pick, obviously, but he's as young as, these guys and has played at a similar level to at least Michael Penix, right? I don't think Rattler's the big issue in New Orleans, but I'm also not going to say this is, a player that should be ranked much higher. Anthony Richardson, low expectations, but you never know. I don't really know what his future has in store. He's a great athlete, really good arm. I think this was a guy that needed to ride the bench for a while, and he played early. And we had the whole him taking himself out of the game because he was tired thing, and then it seemed like career over from that point on. Got beat out by Daniel Jones, and I would have gone with Anthony Richardson because I'm like, there is some upside here. But Daniel Jones has very, very, very clearly been way better than Anthony Richardson could have been. I was wrong about Daniel Jones in Indianapolis. Very clearly the right move by the organization. I'll own up to that. He's been fantastic. Aaron Rodgers has not been great this year. Has had some games where he's been okay. I think he's good enough to start, but upgradable. He's right near where Joe Flacco should be, in my opinion. Rodgers is right there. Mason Rudolph, backup. Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to say low expectations, but you never know. He hasn't really gotten a chance this year, obviously. But I still think he's got more than Dylan Gabriel. The only reason he's ranked ahead of Dylan Gabriel is because we've seen Dylan Gabriel, and it's not good. Sanders could be better. He may not be, but maybe. I'll throw Tyler Shuck in the same area. We've seen a little bit of Shuck, such a small amount. I think we know what he's going to be. Like, best case scenario is Carson Wentz derogatory. I'm going to throw him in low expectations. Geno Smith. Man, he's been so bad this year. So bad. I'm going to throw him in bridge QB. He stinks. You're looking to upgrade. Stafford is a tier 2 QB. There have been some ups and downs this year. The numbers look great. I don't think he's played as well as the numbers would indicate, but he's still Matt Stafford, and I like Matt Stafford. I'm going to put C.J. Stroud and can win with. He hasn't been great this year. No, the situation is so bad. Like, we could kind of separate these two categories. Maybe I'm being nice. Maybe I can just totally do away with the can win with category. Just throw everybody in here. I don't know, man. It's a tough call for me because I find that there's a difference between, these quarterbacks, some of them. But some of them are playing great. I want to show them their respect. Tier 2 might just be a crowded category. Tua, good enough to start, but upgradable. Cam Ward, I'm going to say young but promising. He's been awful this year. The situation really couldn't be worse. Deshaun Watson I need to make a Predator category. Let's do that. Let's get a Predator category in there. I know that's what Wheels is going to have. Predator. And this is not a hockey video. Nashville Predators, you ever heard of them? Carson Wentz is a backup. He was playing on a torn labrum. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's a dog. He's a backup. Caleb Williams, young but promising. He's shown some flashes, just like some of these other quarterbacks. Man, it's not consistent really at all. It's, again, similar to the Trevor Lawrence thing, where it's like he'll make the amazing play and miss the easy one. Gotta hit the easy ones. That's the mark of a great QB. You make the easy plays look easy. Or even the hard plays look easy. Caleb Williams is not making the easy plays right now. But these guys are young. It's a small sample. I'm going to be conservative with their rankings. Russell Wilson is... He's a backup, but yeah, I mean, there's low expectations, I guess. He's Kirk Cousins, right? Essentially, Jameis Winston is a backup. I love famous Jameis, but, you know, it's not great. And I'll throw Bryce Young in young but promising. I don't really know what his ceiling is. I really don't love Tua either. Some crowded categories. This is what I'm going to throw out there. Based off, of course, what we know about these players and some of 2025 as well. I could have separated these out a little bit more, but we're being nice today. Call me a fence sitter. That's all right. We're being nice today. Feels good to be a little bit nice. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.